So it looks like probably that corner, right about there. So these are now leasing their duplex. It's pretty cool. I don't know the pricing on them, but they're now leasing right now. They come with amenities. Pretty nice amenities to it. Yeah, it's a whole setup, and then they got an apartment right in the back. So Jeff Tweedy does a little bit of stand-up. Sunken Treasure live in the Northwest. There's Salsa Limon right there. It's the best tacos around. But yeah, he makes this comment about when he tours, because he's a musician, the lights are, I guess, very bright, and he can't see into the audience. He just, blackness is really what he sees. I guess extreme bright light, and then nothing beyond that. And someone screams out in the audience, it's very the Bob Dylan, if you ever heard the Bob Dylan one, where he was playing at the Albert Hall, I think. Someone screams out, "You're Judas," and then Dylan responds back, "Don't believe you," that kind of thing. In this one, the guy goes, "I love you, Jeff Tweedy," or "We love you." I think it's "We love you, Jeff Tweedy," or something like that. And he makes a joke about he can't really tell if it's voices that are out there, like his own voices. It represents his interior life, is what he calls it. So that he can't tell the difference, whether they're real people or not, or their voices, just him trying to love himself or something of that nature. It's kind of funny. The way he put it was very funny. It's probably coming off as a little serious. But anyway, it's called, that's what we're listening to tonight. It's Jeff Tweedy solo. And I don't forget really anything. I just don't know if God wants me to remember everything. I think is my theory on it. But anyway, it's a solo album, Jeff Tweedy. I mentioned it. Something about the Northwest or Northeast or something. I don't know. It's an album that he has on YouTube. So it's Jeff Tweedy, Sunken Treasure, live in the Pacific Northwest. Okay, I see what he's saying. Okay. Sunken Treasure is the name of the event. I guess you want to call it an album or the YouTube post. And it's Sunken Treasure live in the Pacific, I guess Pacific Ocean Northwest is what he's saying. It's somewhere up northwest. I don't know where. Another thing too, just to let you know, on the Sunken Treasure with Jeff Tweedy, it's actually a DVD. So they did put it on YouTube. And while we're talking about Jeff Tweedy's live, the butterfly is coming up here, half of it. For some reason, they only lit up half the butterfly. But you can see half the wing. The other half you can see during the daylight. Alright, next delivery is 8:39, 9 minutes, 4.4 miles. Alright, this is the Westworth Village. I don't know what type of fighter jet that is flying over that sign. It's not a real one, it's just a symbol of one. But there looked like months ago, maybe 3 or 4, maybe about a month or so ago, there was quite a few F-18 Hornets flying around. I don't know if that's what they call them, but I know they're calling them F-18s. And there's F-22s. Anyway, they're practicing quite a bit. And then now all of a sudden, they're employed in action to bomb different areas of the Middle East. It makes me think, boy, they were practicing quite a bit before all this went down. Before all this bombing went down. Now all of it is not coming from, of course, America, but some of it is. And I just noticed that, was like, yeah, they were practicing quite a bit. Makes me think of movies like Wag the Dog and things like that. But, well, according to the media, Israel was attacked months ago, full force. Now we're involved. I don't know how far it's going to go. It always starts, World War II, it started with one U-boat sinking an American vessel. And then we went into war with the Axis on Germany's side. While we know when it happened in World War II in Japan, it was Pearl Harbor. And that was a big deal. Everyone knew about that. And then we went full at war with the Atlantic, which would be... I'm sorry, not the Atlantic, I'm sorry, Pacific. But we went to full war with the Pacific, as well as the Atlantic. It's about the same time. We're fighting two different enemies. We were fighting the Germans, and we were fighting Japanese. So all went down in the 1940s. Oppenheimer was a part of all of it, because he saved about maybe 1 million American lives by bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now we are seeing the first part of a pretty serious thing. We don't know how far it's going to get, but I knew that they were practicing, like I knew that they were getting ready for something. You could kind of tell, because people kind of know, just like a cat can sense things, people kind of can tell. So we don't know. We don't know if there ever will be peace in the Middle East. We don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. But that's not really up to us. We can try to force it. To say, hey, you guys better be nice to one another. Well, I don't think it's going to happen until we're nice to one another here on this land. And, if we want peace, like real peace, I'm not talking about fake peace. I'm talking about real peace. We would have to show real peace. We have to show real peace here first. Because, we're bringing heaven to earth and earth into heaven. Isn't that something that says in the good book? So we'd have to have it here first, I think, before it can resemble, because we're kind of their big brother in a way, or we at least act that way. We act that way. I don't know if we are really. And I don't see a lot of peace here. Not completely. Not 100%. Really, what I would say that Grace, aka Where Vlog Screenplay in the film, what it's about is convenience versus inconvenience, right? Because really the characters, they all have convenience. Because, they have so much convenience they can vlog about it, but the werewolf is inconvenience. Because the werewolf kills them, and that's inconvenient. Or maims them. Well, yeah. He maims them and kills them. Or she, sorry. But, it could easily be called a lot of different themes, difference between convenience and inconvenience. But I think it's also, it is what it is. It is what, what it says it is on paper. I don't think the filmmaker really is obligated to have to give a log line and a synopsis and, especially if they write the script, they just give them the script and they can read it, Well, I thought it was funny about Trumbo. He was a screenplay writer, and the movie they made with Bryan Cranston. There's a scene in it where they're accusing him of being a communist. McCarthyism will never happen again in this country, but they accused writers of being communist, and he tried to answer the question by giving them his screenplay. He was like, well, have you read my screenplays? And one of the judges, of Congress at that time, when they had all the writers on trial, he said, your screenplays are too long. And he's got a cigarette, he's like, I've heard that before. He wasn't able to really argue, so he had to go as a ghostwriter and write, under a different name. Because they didn't want him to write under his name because they thought he was a communist. They thought he was something bad, you know, or something that would hurt the industry financially. Lucille Ball was all up against the wall too. A lot of them were. But that'll never happen again, so they try different angles, you know. We bring other people in front of Congress and blame people, you know, for things, you know. But who knows, you know, there could have been communist writers in Hollywood in the 1950s or 40s or whatever, you know. There could have been during McCarthyism. We don't know. And does it matter, you know? To me, I don't think there's a huge difference between capitalism and communism. I don't think it's a big difference. I think it's a very thin line. You know, one's governed by how clever you are to step on your brother's shoulders to make more money. And the other one is, you know, kind of governed by maybe what we think is dictatorship, you know. But money is a form of dictatorship to other people that don't have it. Meaning you're controlled by all these freaking Nazis or whatever they are, you know, that have the money and told to do things that you don't want to do, really, you know. You may not want to work in a factory. That may not be something that you want to do. You may want to do something else. You may want to go and do some kind of artistic thing. And we're supposed to be able to do it. But in the capitalist society, they're like, yeah, sure, as long as you pay your bills, we're not going to just give you money for your paintings or for your short films or for the things that you create. We're not going to just give it to you. And that's capitalism, basically. In the communist society, it may be a little bit different. But we can still apply for loans and stuff. We still have the ability to do that. It's very difficult to do that in Texas because we're governed by Republican state of mind. But it may not always be that way, you know. I'll just put it this way. I think if you're an artist and that's what you want to be and you're actually actively doing it, I think you should be able to do that. And capitalism shouldn't get in your way. Just like communism shouldn't get in your way. All right. Another night of delivery, and we'll be headed back. Let's see. Linda and Kitty. So listening to Sunken Treasure live in Northwest. It's a DVD Jeff Tweedy here's originally. It talks about how a rock concert is kind of like church. Well, you know, all musicians are spiritual leaders, and regardless of what they're, you know, if the music is inspiring, it's inspiring the spirit. There's Kitty. Look at that kitty. Just sitting there. Yes, you are. You good old kitty. You sitting there. Just being a little kitty. Being a little kitty. Look at that kitty. Hello. Hello. Do you like the new bedspread?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go.
There's one there.
See if I got it.